Do you think Venice and the United States have nothing in common? Well, think again. Venice has inspired the United States far more than you can imagine. Here are 8 surprising connections between La Serenissima and the USA. Let's start with politics. During its independence, Venice was governed by an electoral college made up of a group of nobles who voted to elect the Doge, the leader of the city. This system, which ensured a balance of power, was one of the sources of inspiration for the US electoral college system, still used today to elect the president. The founding fathers of the United States, such as James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, and Alexander Hamilton, admired the Venetian system for its political stability and balance among institutions. They sought to build a system that was fair enough and representative, just like the Venetian one, but adapted to the American context. Now, let's move to 1787. On September 17th, the United States Constitution was completed and adopted. The Venetian Republic played an important role, as Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin drew inspiration from the Venetian laws, particularly the separation of powers and the structure of a republican government. Some of the founding fathers, such as John Adams, explicitly referred to the Venetian model of the government. In a defense of the constitutions of government of the United States of America, Adams described the Venetian Constitution as an example of stability and longevity superior to many other ancient republics. But the connection wasn't just theoretical. In 1784, in Paris, Benjamin Franklin, acting as a representative of the US government, proposed a commercial treaty between the Republic of Venice and the newly formed United States of America. This made La Serenissima one of the first nations in the world to recognize American independence, marking an act of solidarity and support between two countries undergoing major historical changes. Then there's architecture, when the connection between Venice and the United States is even more visible. Andrea Palladio, a renowned architect, deeply influenced the style of many buildings in the US, including the White House in Washington, which reflects his principles of symmetry, grandeur, and the use of classical columns typical of Venetian villas. Other iconic American buildings, such as Virginia State Capitol and Monticello, both designed by Thomas Jefferson, were also influenced by Palladio, giving rise to what is known as Palladian architecture. Jefferson never visited the Veneto region, but he owned several editions of Palladio's treatise, which he affectionately called his Bible. By studying them, he replicated not only the forms, but also Palladio's idea of the villa as the center of an agricultural and intellectual community. In 2000, the 111th United States Congress officially declared Andrea Palladio the father of American architecture. Ironically, Palladio never visited the United States, as he died more than 2 centuries before its founding. So next time you see US Capitol, remember, its spirit was born among the canals. American is a new Venice, designed to last, built on water, and fueled by a legacy of law. Venice didn't just inspire the Renaissance, it paved the way for modern democracy. And here's something more unexpected. Venice is also a name that has found a home in many parts of the United States. Did you know there are at least 5 places named Venice? From Venice Beach in California, famous for its canals and even inspired by the sands of the Venetian Lido, to locations in Illinois, Nebraska, Louisiana, and Florida. Now, let's talk about Manhattan. The story of the purchase of Manhattan has long been surrounded by myths and popular tales. One well-known version claims that in 1626, Dutch explorer Peter Minuit bought Manhattan from Native Americans for goods worth $24, including Murano glass beads, which were commonly used in trade with indigenous populations. The Rosetta bead, famous for its beauty and value, was highly prized in international trade between the 16th and the 17th century. And speaking of New York, the first documented Italian immigrant to set foot in what is now known as the United States did not come from Naples or Sicily, but from Venice. Pietro Cesare Alberti was born in Malamocco in the early 17th century, during a period when the Venetian Republic was undergoing gradual political and economic transformation. Coming from a patrician family, he grew up in a context shaped by international trade and a strong maritime tradition, factors that likely influenced his decision to leave Europe. Around 1635, Alberti traveled to North America and settled in the Dutch colony of New Amsterdam, located on the island of Manhattan. At the time, it was a growing commercial center under the control of the Dutch West India Company, with diverse population of Dutch, Germans, Scandinavians, and other Europeans. Within this multicultural environment, Alberti became the first documented Italian in the territory, although it is important to note that Venice was still an independent state at the time. Historical sources indicate that he worked in agriculture and land management, contributing to local economic development. His presence is significant as it represents an early phase of Italian migration to the American continent, long before the mass migrations of the 19th century. In 1655, Alberti's life ended during the conflict known as the Peachtree War, a clash between Dutch settlers and Native American groups that caused widespread destruction and loss of life in the colony. Over time, Pietro Cesare Alberti has been rediscovered as a symbol of the origins of the Italian-American experience. In the United States, Alberti's Day is celebrated on June 2nd, coinciding with the Italian Republic Day, to honor the historical contribution of Italians in the New World and to preserve the memory of early Italian presence in colonial North America. And finally, one last surprising fact. Many people assume that Venice, given its immense historical and cultural importance, must be a large city. Yet the surface area of its historic island center is only about 2,000 acres, just a little more than twice the size of Central Park in New York, which is 850. A surprising comparison, especially when we consider how much Venice has influenced global history and culture, despite its small size. This should make you wonder how and why such an incredible city was built. But for those answers, check out the links of my other videos.